A new set of plans has done little to squelch a fiery debate. Up next on News Channel 13, the public reacts to the Army's latest vision for the Pinyon Canyon maneuver site.
We see it as a right and a wrong. We don't feel like there's a need to take over this short grass area, these family generational ranches. It's just an area that we see as a wrong move at the wrong time.
Senator Wayne Allard received a briefing on the Army's plans Thursday morning. He says the expansion will take place south and west of Pinyon Canyon and will not block Highway 350 between Trinidad and La Junta.
Draw out for people and show them visually what it takes to train a brigade, what it takes to train more than one brigade, and how much space actually gets used up whenever you do that.
The proposed map shows that nearly 420,000 acres will come from southeastern Colorado, and that means ranchers will have to make way for the project, even if it comes to using eminent domain.
The Secretary of the Army has not taken that off the table. So that is something that is an option.
In the eyes of those living in or near the proposed area, there's only one solution.
There are other areas to effectively train troops.
Go find property somewhere else.
In Trinidad, Stephanie Wirtz, News Channel 13.
The Army will now study the environmental impact of the expansion. That statement is expected to be released within 18 months. The first acre of land would be acquired no earlier than late 2009.
Soil over the Pinyon Canyon expansion. It was standing room only last night in Trinidad's Altman Hall, with ranchers and residents anxiously waiting to find out whether their land will be affected by the expansion. Representatives from Fort Carson fielded questions and comments about the need to expand and handed over the latest map of where the nearly 420,000 acres for the expansion would come from.
Some folks in there very likely had their fears alleviated this evening. Some other ones had their worst fears confirmed. But at least they know now what it is that we're truly looking at and where they stand as far as those boundary lines are drawn. That's
the fear of losing your heritage, your home, your lifestyle, your livelihood, your ability to make a living. Granddad's grave.
About the doctrinal training requirements.
Now the Army is conducting an environmental impact study that should be completed within 18 months. It will then announce whether there are plans to move forward. In a statement released after today's meeting, Senator Ken Salazar says he will continue to oppose any expansion of the Pinyon Canyon training grounds unless the Army comes up with a plan that provides an economic win-win for the area. He goes on to say that any such plan would have to protect the livelihoods, land and property rights and agricultural economy of the area. One example of a win-win, Salazar suggests the possibility of a Fort Carson annex, a permanent southeastern facility where soldiers would live year-round, bringing money into the local economy.
But first, some good and bad news in the battle over expanding the Pinyon Canyon Army training site in southeastern Colorado. Tonight, Army officials unveiled a new map to the public showing exactly what land they want in southeastern Colorado. Now, some people breathed a sigh of relief, but others learned they could lose their land. Nicole Vandeputty has the latest from Trinidad tonight.
The wait is over for ranch owners wondering what land the Army wants for expansion.
Some folks in there very likely had their fears alleviated this evening. Some other ones had their worst fears confirmed.
This map shows the proposed expansion of the Pinyon Canyon Army training site. It's the area in yellow, and it's about 419,000 acres. The area in blue is already used for training. That's about 285,000 acres.
I I just want to know if my property's in here.
Kenny German lost part of his land in the early 80s when the original training grounds were built. At the public meeting in Trinidad, he saw the land the Army now wants is dangerously close to the property he has left.
If they take it, that means we got to start all over again, and we don't want that.
He wasn't the only one upset.
Go somewhere where you're not affecting all these people's lives. Can't you get it through your heads? We don't want you here.
Pinyon Canyon doesn't expand at all. There's probably pain for soldiers in the United States Army. If it does expand, as we just discussed in a previous question, I cannot conceive of a way to do it that it doesn't impact someone out there.
Lieutenant Colonel James Rice answered the heated questions. He told the crowd the Army needs more land to test equipment needed in combat, and said the Army will offer fair market value if they are forced to take the land. But for many of these ranchers whose roots are tied deep in this soil, no amount of money will be enough.
I will not leave till they carry me off.
Now, the next step in this process is an environmental impact study, and Army officials say that could take 18 months, and then they have several other steps they have to follow before this expansion could actually take place. So they couldn't actually start taking land for several years, possibly. Rob?
Well, at least we have a better idea of tonight of what land they're looking at. That's the bottom line. Thanks. Nicole Vanaputty live via our News First Satlink in Trinidad tonight.
Diminish someone's concerns over the loss of their property, and I understand that.
Before any expansion occurs, a plan opposed by Los Animas County and Trinidad's governing boards, the Army must first satisfy a series of environmental requirements and get congressional approval. Army officials say they want the approval of landowners willing to sell, which could be hard to come by, as a new plan offers some hints but very few answers.
Trust that they're telling us the truth now? Not really, but we're glad we've got something concrete.
Now, a statement from U.S. Senator Wayne Aller's office earlier today said that the Army has already identified and located those willing sellers that will allow the Pinyon Canyon expansion to go through. Now, the Army representatives that were here tonight could neither confirm or deny those reports, and still saying that everything has to be hinged on what happens with these environmental impact studies before anything gets sold. Those environmental impact studies, they say, should be complete by the end of the year. Don and Shannon, back to you.
And that's a ways off, Dave, and until then, a lot of those folks will probably remain very frustrated.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, David Nancaro live at our Pueblo Bureau. Thanks.